Unknown caller.
Hello. Yes, this is. Yes. Hi, Sherry.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I hear you well. Thank you.
How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Good. I'm glad I decided to Zoom today.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on early and joining and getting the audio and video checked for us.
Yeah, it is storming here at my house. So glad I'm just going to Zoom today. Am I the first one in? Am I the first one here?
No, we have several in. We have several of you guys in.
Okay, good.
Thanks everybody for coming in a little early to test. We're getting Amanda in here. And we have started recording and the live stream has started. So we're just waiting for a few more people. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning, Jessica. I see you're muted, but can you hear us?
Oh, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I
Okay,
can.
okay.
Thanks.
How
Thanks.
how are you?
Doing great, doing great.
Okay.
Good
Hello,
morning,
everyone.
Melanie and Mr. Fontenot.
Hello, how are you?
Doing great, doing great.
I hope everybody's well.
Yes.
Good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Well, I'm vaccinated.
Well, that's
Me
good.
too.
That's
Me
good.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Um,
Good morning, all.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm
Good
doing
morning.
Sherry, have you retired or are you just working from home?
No, I retired 3 years ago.
Okay, I thought so. I'm having a
It's
hard
great.
time remembering.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet, huh?
we're leaving for a week tomorrow, and then when I get home, then I'm going to take 2 of our grandsons to Legoland in Orlando with my daughters. So
Very
Yeah.
good.
enjoying a little travel time now. So
Yeah.
glad I got that vaccine. What about you? What you been doing?
Oh, not a lot. We took a little road trip. We went to Fredericksburg, Texas. Back.
Love it. Going there in
Have
October. Yeah,
you been?
yeah, I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's nice.
yeah. I'm going with some girlfriends. We're going to take a little girls trip and go
Oh, it's a
there.
great place for a girls' trip.
Yeah, we've tried to plan it twice, and both times we had to reschedule. So
Yeah.
we're going in October. Yeah.
We were lucky we hit the bluebonnets, so we were able to see.
Did you?
Yeah, a
Oh,
lot of wildflowers. Yeah,
that's nice.
very
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Well, go back in April and you'll see plenty.
That's what I was about to say. Next year, I'll take my husband and go back in April.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah. So.
yeah. They have about 60 or 70 wineries all up in
Yeah,
that
we,
area.
we had when,
Take a designated driver.
yeah, exactly. I went with a girlfriend, she called me a couple years ago and said she had a timeshare and she had to use it. So we went to Austin. And
Mhm.
so while we were in Austin, we took a day trip and went to Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
So we did a couple of wineries, but it was nice.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Enjoyed it.
Relaxing.
Yeah, yeah. So when I go with my girlfriends, I'm sure we'll hit more than a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but the little town's nice. We liked it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So plan on going. But yeah, it's nice to be able to get out and travel a little bit and
Mhm. Definitely.
now, so.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Hey.
morning.
Has the Board of Regents staff gotten back? Are they all back in the building now?
We're working 2 days a week in the building.
Oh, okay.
Are we waiting on others before we start our meeting? I see we're at 10 o'clock.
I don't see Courtney.
Courtney has changed.
Oh, the other Courtney.
Yeah, I don't see Courtney D.
Ah,
You've changed so much.
I know these things happen.
I'm not.
Oh, the only thing I noticed different is the amount of hair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll call the conference room and see what's going on.
How many do we need for a quorum? So we've got.
What is it, 5, I think? If I got all dressed up and came all the way from my kitchen to my office and
We appreciate it.
Very, very much so.
I had Rotary this morning, so I've already gotten out in this rain and came home.
oh,
Good for you.
It was storming too on the way,
Mhm.
but I'm glad I decided to Zoom today and not driving.
absolutely.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I see there's the rest of our people in the conference room.
Oh, there we go.
Hello.
There we
Hey,
are.
there we go.
For what is,
You hear us?
Yeah.
yep, wonderful. Thank you so much. We, of course, had technical difficulties in what is hopefully our last Zoom meeting. So you know how that goes. Do we have everyone that we're expecting? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bruce, it's Jada popping on.
I see she's trying. There we go.
There she is.
Hey, Jada.
All right. I think we have everybody that we are expecting. If you want to go ahead and read the script, Mr. Fondo.
All right, I'll start off by reading this script. It says, before we get started, let me cover a few important points, given that we are holding a virtual meeting. As always, our meeting is being streamed online, so please be mindful of that. You're each asked to keep yourselves on mute during the meeting. Please physically raise your hand or acknowledge yourself, make sure that you're acknowledged. When you are recognized to speak, unmute yourself, give a few seconds before you make any comments, and then please go back to mute to avoid background noise in the meeting. If you have trouble with your technology at any point, you should call James or Dwayne. Their number was on the first page of the agenda that was sent to you. We will conduct a roll call vote for each item. So when your name is called, please be prepared to unmute and verbally have your vote recorded. Pursuant to the notice and instructions of this virtual meeting that were posted along with the agenda, the commission identified 3 ways to submit public comment on any of the items being considered today. The first 2 methods were via email at the address provided or by comment card at the web address provided. Comments submitted during either of these 2 methods were due by 5 p.m. yesterday. The commission did not receive any written comments. The commission is also prepared to receive public comment by phone or email today during this meeting. The conference telephone number to call is 877-848-7030. Again, that's 877-848-7030. The participant PIN number is 339-6187. Again, that's 339-6187. Public comments can also be emailed to prop.schools@laregents.edu. That's prop.schools@laregents.edu. Any public comments received will be read during the meeting by staff. You will need to provide your name, the agenda item, and your general comment. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per comment. Thank you. I'd like to go ahead and officially call the meeting to order. Our first item is roll call.
Right. Melanie Amrine,
Here.
Chris Broadwater, Sherry Despino,
Here.
James Doris,
Here.
James Fontenot,
Here.
Jada Lewis,
Here.
Carmen Millian, Randy Plaisance,
Here.
Mary Lou Potter. All right, Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Wonderful, wonderful. The next item is approval of minutes from the previous meeting. You should have received the minutes by email and had a chance to review them.
I'll
Any
make a,
comments? I'm sorry, do we have a motion?
this is
We have a
Sherry.
motion from Sherry. Do we have a second?
Second,
Ms. Melanie gives us a second. If we could have a roll call vote.
Okay. Melanie,
yes.
Sherry Despino,
Yes.
James Doris,
Yes.
James Fontenot,
Yes?
Jada Lewis,
Yes.
Randy Plaisance.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, our next item is new school applications. Courtney, would you like to introduce our first application?
Megan is actually going to introduce our first application.
Okay, great.
Good morning. I'd like to present to the commission the application for Advanced Academy of Louisiana LLC, doing business as Ocean Point Dental Academy of Hammond, out of Hammond, Louisiana. The school will offer one program of 172 clock hours in dental assistant. Representing the school today is owner, Dr. Oza. Staff have reviewed all application materials and find that they meet qualifications for a complete application and have provided commission members with copies of application materials. The floor is now open for any questions commission members have of the school representatives.
Mr. Chair.
Melanie?
Dr. Oz, I'd first like to commend you on your packet. It was very complete, had a lot of good information in it. So I do appreciate the effort that you put into your application.
Thank you.
My question is about the classes, and maybe I think I saw two different places in there that one said it was going to meet twice a week in the evenings, and the other one said it was going to be weekends. So can you just clarify when the classes will be held?
Yes, ma'am. It should be twice a week during the week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay,
In
so
the
you're not
evenings.
doing the Friday, Saturday classes at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you're operating under an umbrella that's a larger company that oversees or somehow manages these dental schools?
Yes,
Dental
ma'am.
assistant schools?
Yes, ma'am. They help us out with the marketing, advertising, getting students on board, and all the business side of things, basically.
Okay. Are they involved in other schools in Louisiana?
I'm not sure if they have any other programs in Louisiana. I know they do it
Okay.
throughout the
And
U.S.
our staff may know that, but I wasn't familiar with the Ocean, was it Ocean Point?
Yes, ma'am.
I hadn't seen it affiliated, I think, with other dental assisting schools. And as you know, there are a number of them in the state that we've been approving lately. So
Yes,
just
ma'am.
curious about that.
Yeah. So I'm not aware if they have any of the other schools in Louisiana, but I know they do stuff throughout the U.S.
Okay. And as far as you know, are there other dental offices in the Hammond, maybe North Shore area that are also doing dental assisting?
I know of one that's out in Hammond. As far as any other ones, I think they're all kind of a ways from the Hammond area, Covington, Denham Springs. So there's not many within the Hammond area.
Okay. Okay. Well, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Sherry?
Can you just tell us a little bit about why you decided to do this and maybe a little bit more about yourself? And I agree, I looked over everything, but I just kind of like to hear in your words of, some of the reasons you've decided to start a dental assistant school.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. Well, I came to Hammond about 7 to 8 years ago. And when I bought this particular practice, there was a pretty good flow of influx of assistants coming in. So it was easy to find new hires. But after this whole pandemic situation, it became very tough to find assistants in general. And so I was trying to figure out a way, how do we get assistants in our practice as well as other practices? Because a lot of other practices in our area are kind of suffering the same situation where they can't find good employees to come on board. And so I figured, like, if I start a dental assisting school and I could train them the way I need to be trained, then we could have qualified assistants and make it a win-win situation for not just these new students, but also for other dentists in the area that are looking for assistance. So that was the main purpose of having this assisting school, so that we could help out other dentists in the area, as well as help out with these new students coming on board to have a great career in assisting.
And I guess just one more question. Do you think you'll have any trouble finding students?
I hope not. Yeah, it seems like there's a need for it. You know, just even talking to some of the community members in our chamber, people are looking for jobs right now. And it's just a matter of trying to fill that hole.
Right.
So I have a feeling that we will have enough students coming in to support that.
Okay. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have a question. This is Jada. You talked about Ocean Point being the umbrella organization for advertisement. Are you including that in your budget? I didn't really see that in your budget, or is that a percentage of how many students they recruit? I was just concerned any financial obligations as well that would, hinder, I guess, long-term sustainability. Is it a contract or what?
Right. Yeah, there's nothing of that nature. I mean, we will put in money every month aside for marketing, not necessarily a percentage of our revenues or anything like that. But it should not hinder anything as far as our revenues go.
So y'all don't have any obligation to them. It's not like a charter school where you have a management organization where you are held to paying a percentage of your revenues or.
Oh, at the end, yes, ma'am. There is a certain percentage, yes. So 30% of our revenues will go to them because they are helping us out. The other 70% will stay with me. So they are getting a portion of those percentages, yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. I didn't really see that explicitly stated, because I knew, like, for charter schools, CMOs, they normally get a percentage. So you're thinking that 70% is enough for sustainability for you?
Yes.
To do the things that you need to do. Okay.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
No, I move to approve. Mr. Fontenot.
We have a motion from Jada, and I think either Melanie or Sherry both.
Either one.
Either one.
Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Melanie Emright,
Yes.
Sherry Despino,
Yes.
James Doris,
Yes.
James Fontenot,
Yes.
Jada Lewis,
Yes.
Randy Plaisance.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have Safe Road.
Wait, one second. Do we have any public comments, Nancy?
No public comments.
Okay. All right, Dr. Oza, thank you so much. And Megan will be in touch with you later to talk about next steps.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Dr. Ozen.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.
You too.
Next, I'd like to present to the commission the application for Safe Road Truck Driving School located in New Orleans, Louisiana. The school will offer 2 programs, CDL Class A at 160 clock hours and CDL Class B at 80 clock hours. Representing Safe Road today are owners Ms. Nidra Hinton and Ms. Jadian McPherson. Staff have reviewed all application materials and find that they meet qualifications for a complete application and have provided commission members with copies of application materials. The floor is now open for any questions commission members have of the school representatives.
Morning. Good
Good
morning.
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 Good morning. Could you give us just a little background and your motivation for what inspired you to start the school?
We both have over 20 years of experience with our husbands, because, as you know, if your husband starts something, you start it as well. So my husband I've been with him for over 20 years, and I've started with him with just fresh out of school, becoming a over the road truck driver. He's gone on to being an owner operator, to then getting his authority to having a company. So I feel like I have a lot of experience, expertise, in the business. And that this is the only thing I have left in the trucking industry, is to start a school. But I feel the need that we both feel the need that we need to educate our students more on just everything that surrounding the career, because I think that when you come out of school, you don't know what to do next. So our main goal, because we're not truck drivers, but our main goal is to help our students to navigate everything that has to do with the career,
Okay, great. Any questions?
This is Jada. It's more of a comment. It's interesting that you put in application. I think it's very, very timely because the pandemic has really shown there's a shortage of truck drivers.
Yes.
And I'm in the process of building a house, and the timber is just going out the roof. It's not because of a lack of trees. It's because there's nobody to move the lumber. And so this is very pertinent to me in my life as I move to this challenge. And it's just a practical, I guess, solution to something that I think it's ongoing. And I do think supply and demand is out of alignment. So I do think this is a great opportunity for people who may have not been employed or looking for more long-term, stable employment, because I think the shortage is just going to be ongoing. And so just really wanted to thank you for submitting this application, because I know it's very needed. And definitely I would try to, as a business owner, I think you should really try to work with some of these companies that have a supply shortage, and, work out some kind of arrangement where you can supply the workforce that they need as well. So definitely excited about this opportunity and wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
We have a question in the boardroom.
Yes, two questions. How many instructors do you plan to have?
We have 3 right now.
3?
Yes.
They're all experienced truck drivers?
Yes.
Will all have CDL?
Yes.
Okay.
They all have at least 15 years of experience, because we realize how important that is. It's very important to have someone who's been at all levels. So we really have some experienced truck drivers who has, like I said, have owned their own companies, have been an owner operator, have started out. I remember my husband calling me 3 o'clock in the morning. He had went into a ditch. I had to call, it's just different levels that they need to just have the someone to talk to about, the different levels. So we do have very experienced instructors.
Very good. The other question is your Class B license, you say it's 80 hours and 1 week. That's a lot of hours in 1 week.
No, it's 2 weeks.
Well,
what
I'm looking at says 1 week, so it's 2 weeks?
Yes, yes.
Sorry,
We can correct that. Yeah.
Good. That's all I need to ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Melanie, I saw you'd raised your hand.
Yes, Mr. Doris actually asked one of my questions. But I was a little concerned. You said your classes were going to be, it's a 10-hour class day?
Yes.
Which to me seems extremely long for instruction. People's attention span is only, so much. I worry that a 10-hour day to really absorb the instruction, is that, the most efficient way or the best way to teach the class?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. We're going off of what our competitors are doing. And they've been really successful at it. And they really want to, it's not the easiest schedule, but we will accommodate, we will really try to help our students to stay with, to stay along the track. We won't give up on anybody, but we're kind of just going off of what our competitors, but we will make the adjustments if needed, to help everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Okay, good luck.
See, Mr.
Thank
Doris
you.
has another. Mr. Doris?
We talked about the 10-hour days. How much of that will be actual behind the steering wheel instruction?
Well, the instruction is only a week long. You're only in the classroom for a week. Your other 3 weeks, you're actually behind the wheel, learning the backing movements on the road. So you're getting most of your experience behind the wheel. The classroom is only like 40 hours, and that's to pass the test, get the knowledge that you need. With truck driving, is really hands-on. So the majority of your time, you will be behind the truck. That's where you get the majority of your learning from.
That answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a question for you. Like the previous application, you've done a really good job with your application. Your
Thank you.
Thank you.
your business plan and your spreadsheet, your performers look good. My first question is, I noticed, first off, you do appear to have a healthy balance sheet for a company that's not even started yet. But my question is, do you, in the event that it takes longer to get it established and started, do you have other sources of revenue or assets, resources to make sure that you can stay in till it really picks up and gets going?
Yeah, so this is our baby. So, I mean, we have the capital for the business itself, but personally, if anything goes on, we are willing to put up. As far as equipment and everything, we own all our equipment. So we're not going out buying any more trucks. We already have our desks. We have everything we need to start off. So if it comes to a point where the money is not flowing like it should be because of maybe lack of students at that time, we do have the cash flow to continue going. And then with us being, with us working there ourselves, if we can't get paid, then we understand. We'll pay an employee before we pay ourselves. So
Right. I noticed in your performance, and again, it's I hate to say it's purely guessing, but you have to try to get a good estimate. I noticed that your fixed cash flow obligation or projected is about $5,700 a month. And on your performer, you're estimating at about 5 new enrollees per month. What's the minimum? Have you done an estimate on how many you have to at least just break even, just to keep your head above water?
Just 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I put the 5, because I didn't want to get this rate number that I can't, that would make me or her nervous. So it's just 3 to keep us above water.
Obviously, it's important to at least know what it's going to take.
yes,
Right,
yes,
right.
Make sure you had a handle on that. So
Right.
yes.
Good. Great.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from anyone?
No, I move to approve, Mr. Fontenot.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I see Mr. Doris gives us a second. Before we vote, is there any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Absolutely. Miss Amrine,
Yes.
Miss Despino,
Yes.
Mr. Doris,
Yes.
Mr. Fontenot,
Yes.
Miss Lewis,
Yes,
Mr. Plaisance.
Yes.
All right, congratulations, ladies. Megan will
Thank
be
you.
in touch later to
Yes, ma'am.
go over next steps with you.
All right, thank you. And I just want to thank the board, especially Megan, for working with us. She has been on top of everything with us, helping us out. And I just want to personally thank her for that. Okay.
Y'all are welcome.
Thank you, guys.
I'll be in touch.
All right.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right,
Our next item.
moving right along. I'm going to present this next skill of Next school, Skills Academy. I'm presenting to the commission. They are out of New Orleans, Louisiana. They will offer one program of 293 clock hours in software sales training. Representing the school today are Courtney Williams and Mark Rigdon. Staff have reviewed all application materials and find that they meet qualifications for complete application and have provided commission members with copies of application materials. The floor is now open for any questions commission members have of the school representatives.
I have a question.
Mr. Doris? Go ahead.
To say you're going to teach software sales, that's a mighty broad field. What kind of software are you going to be mostly teaching, selling?
Courtney, you're muted.
So first, I'd like to say good morning to everyone, and thank you all commissioners for giving us the opportunity to present Skills Academy for Licensure today. So to answer the specific question, the program is designed to enable an individual to sell software-related services for a range of companies, but specifically it's targeted largely to software that's sold as a service. So SaaS, SaaS, software as a service, which typically involves services that are provided by a software company digitally that can be distributed across the country in a number of different ways. So that's where we're focused on, but the skill set that the individual is learning can be used to sell, CD-based software, consumer-based software, but it's focused on business-to-business software as a service type services.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams, can you talk a little bit about the demand for this particular field? I'm not really familiar with and up to speed with that.
Yes. So first, I think it'd be helpful to just give you a quick background of how we decided to launch this program.
Yes.
So I run a technology company in New Orleans in the education technology space. We sell software as a service to universities, to schools, to daycare centers. About 2 years ago, we were looking to hire new salespeople, and we had a really hard time finding those salespeople. So in talking to other technology companies here in New Orleans, we thought it would make sense to launch a program of this sort. Nationally, we think that the software salespeople are going to produce somewhere in the range of 40,000 to 60,000 jobs across the country over the next 7 to 8 years. Depending on how you run the numbers. In the local economy, we know that there are a growing number of technology companies here that are looking to hire salespeople. So it is a growing space. Almost any given company can be considered to have some technology focus. And so it's not even limited to a particular industry. In every single industry, software is becoming a more and more predominant area of how companies view themselves. So the 40 to 60,000 might even be a conservative number, but those are the numbers that we have based our model off of.
Thank you.
We're unmuted now.
Where will you find these salespeople, the students?
So the reason why we think New Orleans is a great place to launch this company is largely because the pandemic has shown that the hospitality industry, which operates as the backbone of a lot of the jobs in New Orleans, the hospitality industry, the retail industry were two of the industries that had the most significant reduction in a labor force. For a lot of the people in hospitality, that core skill set, being people or people persons, getting along with folks, showing people how to have a good time, those skills are very much the same sort of skills that someone would need in a sales role. So for us, starting here in New Orleans, a lot of the folks that we're going to be looking at are people that were formerly in the hospitality industry that we could bring in, retrain, and have them use some of those natural skills that they have in a different industry. So that's where we're starting. We'll expand beyond New Orleans to Baton Rouge and other areas in Louisiana. And again, we're looking at hospitality, retail, folks that are in industries that are people facing that we think could naturally shift over into a sales-oriented environment.
Thank you. I understand what you're saying, but won't they have to have some knowledge of software to be able to sell it?
That's precisely what the program is focused on. It's what we call an intensive 8-week boot camp. And a huge portion of what we're focused on is giving folks sort of a crash course in what it means to be in the software industry, in what it means to sell business-to-business services and software. Like, what are we talking about? How does this work? What are the typical ways that you do this? So the program is intended to do exactly that. And then once they move into a company, because these are entry-level positions, once they move into a company, they will then learn the very specific elements of that company's sales products and sales processes. But that the program is designed to give you that knowledge of selling software.
Thank you.
Mr.
Melanie?
Chairman, this is a very interesting idea that you have, and hopefully it'll be very successful. I'm a little concerned with an 8-week course, as you just described. It's an intense boot camp. First of all, are you going to have a selective admission protocol where you're only going to enroll students that you really feel are going to be successful to learn it that quickly and to get through and to be successful in the field? Because I worry that there are a lot of young people out there who think this is what they want to do and can do, but after they pay your $12,000 tuition and go through the course, and then they're not successful, that's the last thing that we want to happen. So are you doing a selective admission? You talked about grit, which is sort of a hard to measure trait. But I like the way you said that. You do have to have grit to go out and sell, especially if you're going to sell to people who are in the technology field. So you have someone who has had a boot camp, but they have to go sell to people who really know technology and the business. So how are you going to address those types of issues?
So that's a great question. So I think it's a 3-part answer. So the first part is I shy away a little bit from using the word selective admission, because I think when you use that phrase, it sometimes feels exclusionary to certain kinds of folks. So it's not quite selective admissions, but it is that we're focused on what we call certain key attributes that we believe are required to be successful in sales. And those attributes come in a range of different types of people. And so for us, we spend a large part of the front end of the conversation trying to understand who you are, what motivates you, what drives you, and whether or not these are key sales elements. I've been in sales for 25 years. I've had multiple different types of sales jobs, and I kind of know what it takes and what it looks like. We're not only reliant on a subjective assessment, we have an assessment that I use in my company, that other people have used in their companies, that will give you a sense of whether or not this individual has some of the key attributes. So for instance, do they have a need to convince? Are they competitive? Do they ask, are they good questioners and listeners? So we do that as part of the process. The second part of what we do, which I think is really important, is not only do we provide you with 8-week intensive training, but we also provide you with a one-on-one coach for a full 1 year after you complete the program and while you are employed. So we help you to get a job, and then we get you the support that continues to support you throughout that first year. And then the third element that I think is really important is that we select the employer partners that we work with, and they know that these are entry-level individuals. None of the people that are going to go through our program are going to be expected on day one to go into a company and run a sales organization or manage a sales organization. So those organizations also have processes that are designed to help those individuals learn, because you have to learn what that company is selling and how that company is selling. So with those 3 key elements, we think that we'll do a really good job finding the right folks, giving them the right training, continuing to support them, and getting them in the environments that are going to be conducive to their success.
Is this a model that has been used before that you're familiar with?
It is. There are certain innovations that we're bringing to the field, but the notion of finding and training software salesperson people is not new. It just happens to be new in Louisiana. So when we first did our application, when we listed our competitors, we only listed national competitors. But then through the process, we realized that we had to focus on some of the Louisiana folks. But nationally, there are about 3 or 4 companies that we're very aware of that have done similar things to what we're doing. They haven't necessarily added on the level of support that we have added on, and they've not necessarily focused on some of the cultural competency issues that we have focused on. So there's some innovations that we're bringing to the table, but in terms of focusing on software sales and getting those folks into companies and helping them to be successful, other national companies have done it.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I can't remember, your class size was it 10?
So our first cohort is 10.
10, okay. And you're gonna, on the front end, do an assessment to make sure that you feel they'll be successful. And on the back end, you are going to help with job placement and mentoring through the first year of employment.
That is correct. And so in addition to that one-to-one mentor, we are also going to build out a network of additional graduates that folks can tap into, because we've done quite a bit of research about what results in successful placement of folks in new companies that are learning brand new skill sets.
Right.
And the network and the relationships and coaching are critical elements of that success.
Right.
And so we're investing a lot of time and resources in making that a successful part of our program.
Okay, great. Well, that's good to hear. So thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
This is Jada. I really think this has been a great opportunity, because especially for young Black students, I'm from a STEM background, engineering, and know technology and software is definitely, they're very underrepresented. And I think it's very important, and very impressed with how you're integrating cultural competency, because we know some of the challenges that underrepresented minorities have in these tech companies and entry level, and just assimilating into the company and the culture. So just very impressed with that. And also your pipeline mentality. I see you have some strong community connections with Youth Force NOLA and some of these other amazing organizations I'm very familiar with in New Orleans. And so I definitely think that's going to help you be successful, for your targeted audience as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Yes.
And I think Ms. Sherry, she been trying to jump in. I'm sorry. I saw you waving. I thought you was just waving for me.
Sherry, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. I was just a little concerned with the cost of your program and exactly how the students would be able to pay you. I saw that you had some people somewhere they can get grants and stuff. Are you going to help them navigate through that, or just what?
We are. So nationally, the cost of our program, I think, is competitive with what other national programs are offering. And I think it's important to note that the cost is a little bit higher because we're not only providing this 8-week course, but we're providing this ongoing one-to-one coaching. So just to provide that coaching has additional costs added to it. So in terms of how students are going to navigate, we are going to help those students find ways to pay for the program. Students can pay for it directly, or we've offered what we think is a fairly innovative alternative funding structure, which is called an income share arrangement, which essentially provides that if a student is not able to pay for the course, we actually pay for them. And then upon securing a job earning at least $40,000 per year, we would then get paid back what we provide to the student. If they do not earn a job earning $40,000 a year, they pay back nothing. And there's a limit on how long that arrangement lasts for. And if after that time period expires, they've not been able to pay it back, it goes away. So we think this is a really innovative way to help support those students who don't have the traditional dollars to go through our program. And it also puts a certain onus on us to ensure that our program is successful and that they get out and they can find jobs, because if they don't, then we don't get back the funds that we have used to support them.
Okay, so you'll be able to, let's say your first class, no one can pay. You're able to do that and just wait for your dollars and.
We are. So a part of our model is that we have raised outside capital that will allow us to support the program while we scale and while we learn. So
Okay.
our model right now, we have the revenue to support our entire 10 cohorts if they don't pay us a single penny. And our model involves getting additional funding so that we really learn how the program works and so that we're doing it correctly. And then we can scale over a period of time without really worrying about generating a ton of income. So we have outside investment that will allow us to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Sherry, you asked the question that I was going, and first I commend you on your business plan and your cash flow models. Obviously, you've done your research, as well as both you and Mr. Rigdon have very impressive resumes. So you're not going in this with your eyes closed. You've definitely gone into it with your eyes wide open. So I'm impressed with that. And as Sherry was asking, I guess my only question kind of tied to that is some of the competitors that you listed, being some of the community colleges and others, many of them do have in place the ability for Pell Grants and financial assistance. And obviously it'll take you some time to be able to offer that through some of those programs.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that you have other financial resources available. And I noticed your first 2 years you had projected at actually your second year being a gross profit, but at a net loss still even into the second year. So I'm guessing your investors that you have and your resources are anticipating that as well. They understand the length and all that.
That is correct. So as I mentioned, I run a technology company here in New Orleans, and like many other technology companies, we had to raise capital in the early years from outside investors to grow the business to a level of scale where the company would then be able to be profitable. So it's a similar model. Several of the folks that have invested in the company that I run now are also going to be investors in this new company. And so that's just a part of the model that everyone understands. And ironically, in fact, many of these investors want to see that you are going to scale and that you're going to move fairly quickly and you're going to do the work, which requires capital and cost to get it right in the early stages. And so that's also part of how we've built this, that we're going to raise this additional capital to get to the point where year 2, year 3, we can scale it and generate a profit.
Impressive, very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments or other questions? Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve.
We have a motion from Jada. Any seconds? Melanie or Sherry? Do we have any public comments?
I'm sorry, no public comments.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Can. Ms. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Despino?
Yes.
Mr. Doris?
Yes.
Mr. Fontenot?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Plaisance?
Yes.
All right. Congratulations, Courtney and Mark. And I will be in touch after the meeting with some next steps.
Great, thank you guys. And again, also thank you to the staff who were very, very helpful in helping us structure this application to fit the requirements of the Board of Regents and the Commission. Have a good day, everyone.
Great. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Okay, our next application.
I'd like to present to the commission the application for Baton Rouge School of Phlebotomy in Baton Rouge. Of course, the school will offer one program of 144 clock hours in phlebotomy technician. Representing Baton Rouge School of Phlebotomy today is the owner, Ms. Jessica Stropshire. Staff has reviewed all application materials and find that they meet qualifications for a complete application and have provided commission members with copies of application materials. The floor is now open for any questions commission members have of the school representative.
Jessica, could you give us just your story about what motivated you to start your school and your plan?
Yes. Yes. I have been in the healthcare industry for well over 10 years, 10 years plus. And I took an active interest in the phlebotomy program. Once I've graduated medical assistant, I did that for a couple of years, but I just went on the road of phlebotomy and I've stuck with it ever since. And I became motivated to pursue my own school once I started teaching phlebotomy. And I saw how the students would, just gravitate toward once they get their first successful venipuncture draw, and it's just such a good feeling that once they're successful with that, and I just want to continue that motivation and continue that positive impact on others' lives with getting their entry-level foot in the door with any kind of healthcare, just healthcare period. So that's what motivated me is being able to motivate others and have a positive impact on others.
You said that you taught others before. You worked as an instructor at other schools, or?
Yes.
I didn't see that anywhere in your resume.
I have. It's on there, Unitech.
Oh, okay. You were at Unitech?
Yes.
Are you going to, in addition to just vaccinations and blood draw, are you going to teach how to establish what you call it, a line where you can put fluids directly into the
IV.
Ivy.
An IV line.
No, phlebotomists don't do that. No, sir. No, phlebotomists don't do that. Unfortunately, that's for the RNs or the LPNs.
Okay, thank you. They wouldn't let them do it even if they knew how. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Simple enough.
Melanie?
Good morning. Thank you for being with us and for submitting your application. How many students do you anticipate you'll have in each class?
15.
Okay. And
15,
are you the sole instructor, or are you going to have any other instructors, or it's just you?
It's just me.
Just you. And
Yeah.
you're going to, are you working full-time? Or are you going to continue your full-time job while you do this?
Once I get my enrollments, then no, I'll commit straight to my my school.
Okay. The other thing was, I noticed on your list of equipment, you had a number of items that still need to be purchased. But your bottom line on your balance sheet was extremely low. So I'm wondering, how are you going to purchase the equipment that you need for your students?
My equipment, I have, what you mean, you said my balance?
Well, there was an equipment list. And you
yes,
had some things that had been purchased and some things that still need to be purchased, like computers. You said you still needed to purchase computers and a number of other medical items, which I assume, are going to run up some cost. So, but on your balance sheet was a very low balance. So I'm wondering, how are you going to make sure all that comes together and works out for you?
Actually, my personal savings account, I'm going to utilize those funds and purchasing my equipment. I just haven't purchased it yet because I was looking around for the correct computer that's gonna hold the capacity of the software that I need. So my personal funding is gonna utilize that equipment purchase.
Okay, so you don't see any problems with making sure your equipment list is complete by the time you have students enrolled?
Oh, no, ma'am. Okay. No, ma'am. Yeah.
Thanks.
Sherry?
Where will you be finding your students? And what happens if you're basing your income on 15 per class? What happens if you can't sustain 15? And how will you go about keeping yourself, I guess, employed?
Well, I did a breakdown. So if I get at least 5 students enrolled, that will keep me afloat. And I plan on utilizing the high school students. I want to go and speak with high school students, because for the ones who don't want to continue with the 4-year college, I think that speaking to the schools and getting them to try to do some type of trade once they get out, instead of just trying to do just any kind of any kind of like McDonald's or Burger King, not saying that those aren't, like
Right.
decent jobs, but just something under their belt that they will have to enter the healthcare industry, and then they can move up and, and continue their career.
Right. Okay. That's all.
Go ahead, Sherry. You still had another question?
No, I said that's all I have.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I had a couple.
And I'm sorry, and not just high school students, but those are the number one target is to get my high school students. But they do have other people in mind, like people who are already in the healthcare, maybe that's working at a lower position, maybe like a CNA or something, and they want to better themselves or try to do some type of next level, entry level, and then they can pursue, and go on from there.
So do they have career fairs and that you would be attending to find and state your cause, I guess? Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. Yes, they do have career fairs, and I have contacted some of the schools just to see, if that's something that they would allow. And I have been successful with speaking to them, and and I told them once I get everything approved, then I'll be back in contact with them, and we can and hopefully my future goal is to try to get my program into the school as as like a skills trade.
All right. Thank you.
I have several questions.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed in your business plan, you indicated, you said, my intent is to have a definitive, measurable business, financial, and marketing plan that will be used as a roadmap to sustain a successful business and enroll students with an interest in a career in allied health. But you didn't submit that plan to us. Do you have a written, defined business plan that includes your projected cash flows? And you mentioned you have some of your own savings, but I don't see, you haven't indicated how much that is, or if you have any other lending opportunity, if you need to go borrow money or something. Can you help me with that?
My personal savings, I do have, I can submit those if I need to. I do have at least, anywhere from I think it's about 10,000 that was in there. I can submit that if I need to show proof. And once I was going to be, once everything was, going to be afloat, I was going to do a line of credit at the bank, to continue that cash flow.
Okay. What about your business plan and your cash flow projections and so forth?
Well, my business plan, yes. My business plan was to target the high school students, to get those students afloat, and to just to hit the industry of the healthcare people that's already, looking to build or looking to go further, looking to go to that next level. The business plan that I have is my target area of getting the mid to low income people to enroll and to where they can pretty much move up to the next level. Because once you pretty much get your foot in the door of healthcare, it's pretty easy to move up. So that was my plan, was to target the people that.
So is it my understanding that you really don't have a written business plan that identifies your advertising and your marketing and projects your cash flows and so forth?
Now, you mean my cash flow as in once my students are enrolled, or what do I have in the bank?
Both.
Yes, I can show you what I have in the bank, and the students that I projected, that I wrote down, that I have, starting off with 5 students that would keep me afloat, and then that's why I projected up to 15 students.
But again, help me understand here. Based on what you've submitted, I don't see a actual written plan about how you're going to go about implementing that. And also in your business plan, similar like some of these other applications where it identifies your biggest competition and how you anticipate being an advantage over your competition. Because we've approved a number of these type of schools, and there are a number of these type of schools that offer the phlebotomy.
Mm-hmm. Phlebotomy.
And my concern is how you're going to compete against those other schools that are currently in business and very well established.
Well, I did do my research on the other schools that are in the area, and we do have some similarities in competition. But my school, I plan on doing helping the students with resume writing, because a lot of people don't know how to do resumes. Plan on doing interview prep. I plan on doing like intense training every second Friday. We're gonna get together because we close on Friday. So every second Friday, I'm gonna hold a class on how to on doing the certification prep. Because my plan is to have 100% pass rate for my students when they take their certification exam. So holding those classes, and I will also accept student grants as well. So that would be more competition. I mean, that would be, what my school would have that's different.
So your school will have the availability for grants to cover their tuition?
Yes.
When?
Yes.
When will it have those
once
type of grants available? I'm sorry?
Well, I spoke with the lady at the grant office, and she told me once I get everything approved, then I have to contact her, and then we can go with the initial setup and the initial flow of getting everything set up and getting my name added to the WIOA workforce development, getting my school name added to that getting my school name added to that grant list.
But are you familiar with the process that you have to go through in order to qualify for those grants?
Yes, she told me exactly how long it would take for funding to transfer over and everything.
But did she tell you how long it'll take for you to get approved and the process for your approval?
She did.
And how long is that?
She did tell me to take a couple of months. She did tell me to take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. Yes.
And this is just my limited exposure to this, but my experience has been that it usually takes schools much longer than that to get qualified for the Pell Grant program, for the government grants and so forth, unless you're referring to some other different grants.
It's not a Pell Grant. It's not a Pell Grant.
I think she's referring to workforce grants.
Workforce workforce and innovative
workforce development. Yeah, the program's not long enough to qualify for Pell Grants.
Correct.
Federal programs.
On the workforce grants, does that pay the full tuition?
It does. Once if the student qualifies.
I see.
If the student doesn't qualify for the full, then they will be responsible for a portion as well. I think it has something to do with their income.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe this is just me, but I have to share that I am a little bit concerned of, based on the information that you've given us, that if you really have a defined plan that's going to help you get established and on your feet in this competitive business, is, as most people that have been in business know, it usually takes longer to get going than they think, and it usually takes more money than they think. And at this stage, I'm concerned if you've done enough defined research that and identified exactly what you're going to do to make sure that you are able to stay in business in this field.
Yes, I have done my research, and with the income, like with the competitive prices, we're all around the same range with the prices, with the competitive prices. And like I say, with my income, I mean, like I wouldn't have a problem with getting everything that I need, and as well as staying afloat with paying everything, because I do plan on getting utilizing my savings and doing a line of credit.
Okay. I'm just a little concerned, that's all. Just sharing my position.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions? Mr. Doris?
Unlike some of the other medical fields, this field, I assume, does not require a lot of equipment. Is that not correct?
It does not require a lot of equipment.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments or? If we don't have a motion, I would like to make a motion as a request for additional written information.
Okay.
Is that within our guidelines here, administration, Courtney, or?
Amanda, I believe that they can request additional materials under the rules as written.
I would speak up and also say I agree with James. I hear a lot of intent and I plan to, but I would actually like to see a little bit more of a business plan presented to us before I would like to take a vote on this.
So y'all do have that specific provision in law that does allow for the requesting of information that I think it says board, but the commission would require to approve the application. My recommendation would be to make a motion first on that, on the request for more information, and then set it for your regular meeting for approval or a denial, however it plays out.
I kind of hate to move it for a vote because and I would hate that it not pass. I want to give you every opportunity, Jessica, to make sure that you can go in business. I'm hesitant to carry it for 2 months because I know that it's not much longer before she can go in business. But at this stage, I just would like to see something more defined and written that makes us feel better about recommending you to the Board of Regents, that identifies, your market, how you plan on getting into that market, your anticipated cash flows, your resources of funds that's going to help carry you through that. I just like to see something more defined. So I guess I would like to make a motion to receive a defined business plan that includes a financial pro forma that gives us a roadmap for her goals.
I'll second that, James.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Before we vote on that, is there any public comments on this application?
No public comments.
Okay, any other comments from anyone?
Jessica, we want to see you be successful. And unfortunately, we've seen these schools open and close within a year because there wasn't enough preparation. They didn't get the students that they thought they were going to get. So, we've seen that happen numerous times where schools just weren't able, did not stay open. And like I said, we do want you to be successful. So that's why we're asking for a little more information.
Okay.
So Mr. Doris has a comment?
Yeah, will the submission of this additional information prevent her from going and opening her school now?
Yeah, I would think so.
I don't see the wisdom in that.
So from the legal perspective of it basically, if you make this motion, you're deferring the approval pending the acceptance of these documents and the review of these documents. So the motion, it wouldn't be a motion for approval today. It would essentially be a postponement pending more information.
Would we have to wait 2 months?
You'd have to wait till the next regular meeting.
I don't think that's wise.
I'm more than open to any suggestions about helping her get approval sooner than that.
Approve it today.
And I'm open for a vote. I mean, we can vote now. If we get enough approval, she can,
And if you want to make you can make a motion to do what you want, and then we can vote and we can see what the outcome of the vote is.
Well, I don't understand what you just said.
If they want to make the motion to defer, then we can go ahead and vote on that and see how the vote shakes out.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. So, and we have no public comment. So can we have a roll call vote?
Yes. Ms. Amrine.
Yes.
And We're voting to defer the application. That's what you're voting on, just to clarify. Ms.
Yes.
Amrine? Yes, okay. Ms. Despino?
Yeah.
Mr. Doris?
No.
Mr. Fontenot?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, I believe, had to step out of the meeting. Okay. And Mr. Plaisance?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a vote to defer the application. Megan will discuss with you, Jessica, what steps to take, and we will see you at the July commission meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I apologize for us not being able to approve you today, but I hopefully this will give you more time to better prepare when you do open your school.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, our next item on the agenda.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the renewal applications. You have been provided a list, and then you were provided a second list with an update yesterday for the school that had the extension from the March meeting. Does anyone have any questions for staff about the renewal list?
Do we have a motion for approval of the renewals?
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. And a second. We have a roll call vote on approval of renewals.
Ms. Amrine?
Yes.
Ms. Despino?
Yes.
Mr. Doris?
Yes.
Mr. Fontenot?
Yes.
Mr. Plaisance?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Did we have the program approvals or updates on programs? I don't think we need any vote on that. This is purely for informational, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct. For other business, staff does have a few updates. Unless anyone had any questions about program changes? No? Okay. The rule changes that we reviewed and voted on in March were presented to the board, and they also voted and approved said rule changes. And they were submitted to the Louisiana Registrar's Office to be printed in the upcoming edition and officially begin the public comments period. So we are hopeful that in our July commission meeting, we will have an update that those have met final approval of the board and that they will go forth on as official rule changes in the administrative code. The other staff update we have is that we have worked with academic affairs on a selection of a software, ironically, software as a service, for digital submission and automation of the license renewal and application materials. So hopefully we'll be able to purchase that. We'll be working with finance shortly. And then by the end of the year, we should have a good place to go forward and start using this new software for our schools to improve efficiency in the process.
Great. Okay. Anything else?
Not from staff.
Okay, I guess if nobody else has any other business, the meeting is adjourned.
Oh, I will add, well, it doesn't matter. The next meeting is supposed to be in person. It will be at 136B Thomas Jefferson Room here in the Claiborne Building. So hopefully I will see you all then and finally meet so many of you in person. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Where is the time?